Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and I am here flipping through my pregnancy journal for 2022. So if you've been following along for a while, you know that I was pregnant for most of 2022, and I have finally kind of put together all the pages here, and we'll be flipping through this just to kind of see and give you inspiration for how to set up a pregnancy journal for yourself. So just to start off with, I did have what was essentially like a monthly layout planner in my stash, and when I found out I was pregnant, I decided to pull it out and just kind of use it for the pregnancy journal. I did want it to be basically a functional pregnancy journal for me to keep notes and tasks and things to do while I was pregnant, but also, just to maybe have some fun and lay down some stickers, but not be super overwhelmed with like keeping up with a weekly planner for the pregnancy. So that's why I decided on a monthly layout for it. And this one was, I can't remember the name. It was something like monthly doodles, seasonal doodles, something like that. But it is the original cover and discs for that planner. And I did pull out the months that didn't apply to the pregnancy. So it does start off basically when I found out I was pregnant, and it goes through pretty much the beginning of December, just a few weeks ago when the baby was born. So again, I'm just going to flip through this fairly quickly just to show you and give you some inspiration for like how I set it up. I hope I won't be too chatty, mostly because I'm trying to record this when all the girls and everyone else is sleeping in the family, so this has got to like be super quick. So anyway, it is a monthly layout. Like I said, I did start off basically with April, and one of the things that I did do was use a different set of dividers. So the dividers that came with the planner are right here, and I didn't use them, but because I was using or setting this up in my Franken planner, I wanted to have the tab in a different location, and I wanted it to be like the third tab, April to be the third tab instead of the second tab. And so I ended up picking out like basically 9 months of double-sided dividers, and so you'll see basically 2 dividers for each month as I go through. So here's April, and again, they're just these first dividers, the double-sided ones, are just random ones from my stash. This one I believe came from a faith guided journal. Created me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me, from Psalm 51. And again, it's double-sided. I think it's beautiful like that. And this is the actual divider, which I cut the tab off for. And so then here is the month, right? I didn't even decorate it. I basically just made a note here that my pregnancy test came back positive. I did track, I tried to start taking vitamins, and then I was trying to do my Kegels, but honestly, I didn't do it at all during the pregnancy. But then because of like how you calculate the expected due date, I did actually calculate my expected due date here, and then like created essentially like a checklist for the month, right? And then notes, and I did try to decorate it here a little bit, right? And so that is that. Now, one of the things that I did do for the pregnancy journal, basically throughout the entire pregnancy, was try to week by week note some of the major like milestones or symptoms that came up, and I used several apps for that. So one was Ovia, OVIA, pregnancy, and the other one was the Baby Center app. And so both of those were downloaded on my phone, and they would send me like daily/weekly reminders, and I would just make lists of some of the symptoms. They would be symptoms either for me or milestones that the baby would be achieving in utero. And so I just would make these notes here, and then also I would like journal a little bit. So sometimes I would journal on this section, but sometimes I would just kind of like journal in these like weekly pages, but mostly they're just symptoms lists. And I did decorate this week, you can see here, right? And then here I was just kind of taking notes for Sophia, since she's 5. I was just kind of like making note of some of her major like symptoms, if you want to call it that, for like what she was going through emotionally with like finding out about the pregnancy, right? So then here's May. You'll notice too in April that I didn't use several of the pages. I mean, any pages that I didn't use, I just ended up pulling out and just trying to use later, right? So again, random cover here. I really loved this one, right? And then here's May. Again, it's fairly simple. I did share the news with several people, and so I made a note for who I shared it with, and then I started listing my appointments. Sophia decorated this page with just some random stickers in her stash, and again, vitamins. And then during the first trimester, I had like severe, like, it was like headaches, and so I was just taking like some like essential oils to be able to try to like calm down the headaches there, right? And then I had, of course, my appointments, and then again a to-do list, and then just like some of the information from one of the appointments. Right, then here, again, like I just listed all of the symptoms running by week. And again, like had really bad headaches for the first trimester, right? And all the pages that I didn't use, I ended up pulling out. And so here is June. Again, this comes from the Faith Guided Journal. And be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving each other just as God also in Christ forgave you, from Ephesians. Right, love that. And love that. I just like the look of it together, right? And so here is June. I did decorate it a little bit more. I had 2 appointments, right? So that's that. And then you can see here, this was the end of the first trimester. It was really rough for me, so I barely kept up with it. Also, we were like in the middle of like trying to pack up a house and move, and so it ended up just kind of falling to the wayside here. And I did track some of this stuff, but then, you know, my back started hurting really badly. Yeah, just making all the notes basically. And so I ended up deciding to use this back page, and yeah, that's there. Just to note 16 weeks, just because I didn't want to like use another daily task list. Right, so here's July. Stay wonderful. I'm using like a very like leopard theme for 2023 for the baby. So these dividers are like on point. Right, love this divider. Right, so here it says right here, July was a busy month. Right, again, we were moving. So I definitely had like a lot of pain, lots of pain. But then we did find out at the end of July that we were having a girl, so that was very exciting. But yeah, so I basically only did that page and barely took my vitamins. That's really bad. Anyway, so yeah, we were definitely moving that month. August 1st was our first official day in our new house. So this is August. I just used, again, a random divider, but this is the official divider from the Doodles planner, and it's much more decorated. So I was feeling a lot better in August, in July too, but like July we were moving, but in August I was definitely feeling a lot better. So I definitely decorated here. I didn't have any appointments from what I can tell here, but then obviously new house, we were moving. Here's a task list for the baby. A lot of her stuff ended up just kind of like being piled into a room. So a lot of it is just notes for me to clean out her room, and still really bad about taking my vitamins, but I did decorate, you can see here. Right, same thing here. I'm just tracking like a lot of my symptoms using the app, and like any personal symptoms that I was going through. Like here was one, like I had like really bad like just numbness in my hands, like in this month. Like it was just like really bad like carpal tunnel kind of numbness, right? So that was there. And again, I didn't use this back page, but you know, I pulled out all the pages I didn't use. Right, this one is from, again, the Faith Guided Journal. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee, from Hebrews 13. Look at that, matches kind of well. Right, here's the divider. And again, I did decorate this. I started having lots of appointments starting in September and moving forward, so I love how this looks. Did decorate that. And then I did track vitamins using my belly van, and then like of course taking my medications. These medications I ended up later on combining into like just one medications habit tracker. And then again, to-do list. And then here is just, you know, like making a note, like was trying to catch up with the pregnancy journal, so that was just a note related to that. Right, then here are all of the notes for each week, but then here is just me like making or doing some journaling related to like pregnancy brain and how bad it was for me in September. Like I forgot a bunch of stuff. Right, then here was just talking about like one of the medications being super duper expensive, and so I ended up calling and trying to get like a more generic version of it. Yeah, so, and then here's more journaling. I was obviously feeling better in September by catching up, and then also just like having just more energy, so I was able to catch up and like do a lot more journaling. But here's more like symptoms, and then here I just wrote this out on random sticky notes and decided just to stick it in here like that. Right, and then here, one of the things I was trying to do, just because like it's one of the things that's recommended, is to try to do a regular like kick count, like counting within like a 30-minute or 1 hour period how many times the baby is kicking. So it says track 10 kicks within 1 hour, and so I was trying to do an AM and a PM version, but you can see I did not do it at all in September. Right, so this one, in every season be grateful. These dividers, by the way, these like leopard themed ones, I think came from a guided journal that was like the Stay Wild. It had like a Stay Wild. It was a leopard themed one that's kind of like a bullet journal version. So yeah, I did use those dividers. But this one is super cute for October. Right, and then here I didn't decorate this. I don't know really why I didn't decorate it. I did have a lot of energy here, probably just because I was busy at work, but I had lots of appointments. We did have a baby shower. I was doing all sorts of like appointments. Here's another, like, it's not an appointment, I had to go in for some blood work. But we did have one of our baby showers here. Again, like vitamins, medicine, and then belly band just for like any kind of pain that I was having with my back. A to-do list, and then some quotes from Sophia. I don't know what that is on there. All right, and then here again, I'm just tracking like symptoms. This is a like gift card slash like my friend said it was a scrapbookable like card. It's a really cute fish. I'll show you that part of it. It's like that. It's so cute, right? So I stuck it in here. I punched it and just stuck it in there. All right, I'll have to blur this out, but this was the invitation for the baby shower that we had. It was a dual baby shower. Like I have a coworker who was also, his wife was pregnant at the same time, so we just combined and had like a work baby shower with the both of us. So that's there. And then again, I'll have to blur this out just because this is like my actual doctor's appointment card and like a picture of my husband. He just doesn't like being in here. I'll probably leave myself though so you can see me. But yeah, again, still just keeping up with like symptoms and like milestones for the baby, like how big they should be and that kind of thing, right? So like right here, it says by this point, 33 weeks, baby's lungs are producing pulmonary surfactant, which is the fatty substance coating lungs insides. This substance helps us breathe. And again, all of these came from those two apps, Baby Center and Ovia, those two apps that I mentioned earlier. All right, so November, be strong in the Lord from Ephesians 6. And it says that on the back too. That's so cute. I don't know why, but like I did a really good job matching these. I feel like, I mean, it's not perfect, but it coordinates well enough color wise to like not be like so jarringly different, right? And this is the November divider from the planner. Again, I just used some random stickers here and random stickers here. I was moving at this point into my weekly appointments, you can see here. So at this point, the beginning of November, like I was going every week to my appointments, right? The list got much longer. Here I combined meds together, tried to do my kick count, which I was kind of bad at. And then here, wearing my belly band whenever the pain was really bad. But here's a note saying, I am in so much pain. I did try to do some journaling. Here I try to journal about like just random things that are happening in the month. One of the big things for November, I was really nesting. I was doing a lot of digital nesting, like cleaning out my like computer files. So that was a big thing. And then Sophia just randomly put these washi pieces here. I know it looks really weird, but you know, it's not, you know, I let her do her thing too, you know, like it's fun for her to be able to kind of work with me with some of these, right? And again, just tracking it by the week. Some of these in the boxes are like my actual journaling, so I put those here. And then here, my husband at 38 weeks, like 2 weeks before like a person's due date, like 40 weeks is like normally where they calculate your due date. He's like, oh, let's go to Orlando, which is like 8 hours away from our house. I'm like, we're not doing that, right? So one of the big things for November that I realized was like I had to go to the restroom all the time. I didn't have that issue with my first daughter, who's 5. I didn't realize, or I didn't notice at least, that I had to go to the restroom all the time. But definitely for this pregnancy, I was like using the restroom all the time. So I just thought it would be kind of fun and cute just to like keep track of how many times I was, you know, like urinating essentially. And so I tracked it for November. You can see here. And then I did decide. My doctor and I talked about like our birth plan, like my birth plan, and I really wanted to just kind of like have a C-section. I did have a C-section with my first baby, and so instead of like trying to have a VBAC, a vaginal birth after C-section, I decided to just go ahead and have a C-section this time as well. And so these were just some like notes from a website. I'm assuming I didn't put where I referenced it, but it's just some notes from probably like Ovia, like I said, Ovia or Baby Center, for like what I should be kind of keeping track of. And like we're kind of like right here in the 2-week, 1-month period at the time of recording this video. Yeah, so we are definitely here. Like I'm making sure I'm checking for infection pretty much every day. Like right here, make sure that I'm off my medicine and can drive. I'm definitely moving a lot more comfortably. And it says right here that the vaginal bleeding stops around 6 weeks. That's still an issue right now for me. Like I still have like lots of vaginal discharge, but you know, that's probably TMI. I'm sorry if that was, but yeah, it's just nice to like have this as a reference. And then I did want to at least start to develop a budget specifically for the baby. And I decided to go back through like all of my like budgeting planner and pull out all the baby specific like purchases that I've made, mostly medications, but also like just things I needed for the baby. And again, it's mostly medications, but I think that what I decided to, you can see right here, like I decided like we would set the budget at $100 a month to cover like diapers and all the clothes and things like that that we need for the baby. And that's what I contribute to the budget. My husband is like a budget less, like he doesn't budget type of person, so he will spend whatever he needs to, and you know, he's fine with that. But I like to be a little bit more on top of my budget, and so I'm going to budget $100 a month for the baby to buy things. Right, and then we did decide to name her, and so here's just the name page for like what we named her. I think I'll be fine. I think I am gonna blur this out, just, you know, like her name is Rose, but you know, some of that I don't know. Like I don't actually make my passwords like related to names, so like if you're here watching trying to find out like a password, it's not going to be related to the baby's name or her birth date. But you know, like maybe I should just not have that up anyway. But then here, like because I used this page and had like just notes, I decided to go ahead and just like journal on like this random sheet of paper. And so this is just more journaling that I had for the baby, right? And then last month was December. She was born December 7th, right? So this one says do all things with kindness. And for this month, I did actually use the first part of the month to be able to track pregnancy related stuff. And then once we went into the hospital for the C-section, I moved directly into her memory book, which will be a whole separate flip through once I finish that full year. But this is December. I did start like putting in some of these things. These stickers came from the advent calendar from the Happy Planner, but I haven't actually finished opening all those stickers, but like I included some other stickers. And then this note right here says the pregnancy journal is ending and your memory book begins. Welcome to the world, right? Like, so right here, this is where my C-section was. It was scheduled for 39 weeks. Yeah. And then here, I still had a very long to-do list, mostly because I didn't like some of this stuff I carried over from like April. And then here's the like list of all the times I went to the restroom, my meds, and then, you know, like right here I had baby log. I'm not quite sure, I wrote that in, but I never obviously marked anything, and I had a blank one. And then I have this came from Baby List. It's a hospital bag checklist of the things that we packed here, and I pretty much kept to this list. I didn't actually pack anything that was outside of this list, except for like a bag with my planner, like not my planner, but like my notebook that I was using, and I ended up honestly not even using it. I just tracked everything on the phone. And then after this is my C-section like notes from the hospital, like all the instructions that I had for the hospital, so I won't show you that. All right, and then after this I'll flip this really quickly, just because they're like, or like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't flip through it. It's like ultrasound pictures, like you can see here. So very quickly, you can just kind of see this is what it looks like. I have several pages of like ultrasound pictures that I used and put into like one of those magnetic photo albums. I cut the photo album pages down to size for that, and stuck that in here. Again, that was part of the pregnancy, and so I decided to add it here at the very end just because I had a whole collection of them. And I did flip to that very quickly just because, you know, sometimes there is information on there that, you know, I don't think you can even read it, honestly. I covered some of it up, but you know, that information is there. Tells you like when I took these ultrasound pictures. So anyway, those pictures are there, and yeah, that was my entire pregnancy journal. Again, like I did try to keep it fairly functional, and I did try to decorate it to make it look pretty, but also like it was really meant to be just tracking some of the major symptoms. It's nice to have this keepsake for Rose now that she's born, and at some point she will receive all of this stuff, and she can certainly just decide to trash all of it. Like I enjoy keeping the memories for myself and looking at them every once in a while, and if she enjoys it and wants to have this when she's grown, then I will give it to her. Like I do plan to gift Sophia her set of memory books and Rose her set of memory books whenever they're a little bit older, but for the time being I'm just going to keep working away at these memory books. Right now we are in Rose's memory book, and just sneak peek into that, we are using for her starting in December. I do have a tab here, you know, for her birth story, but then starting in December, we're using what is essentially a classic vertical, all right? So here's the monthly page for that, and then here's the classic vertical. This was the page before her birth, but this is her birthday, and so this is where the memory book will officially start. And so I just decided I didn't want to leave like that one single week right here blank, and so these really should be in the pregnancy journal, but I didn't want to leave that week blank. So yeah, that's where we are. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'm dropping stuff everywhere. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I hope it gave you some inspiration for what you could do if you're considering trying to conceive or setting up a pregnancy journal for yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them for me and I will answer them as best as I can. But I will be looking forward to setting up for the rest of 2023 and moving into decorative planning in my memory books. So yeah, all that's going to be coming up. But I also plan to move on this channel into more functional planning, so you can kind of see the blend of it in this pregnancy journal, I think. But like, we're gonna have some fun in 2023. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel so you can be here for all of those videos. And until the next one, you guys, bye.